Good morning, everyone. I hope that someone's with me or someone will join me at some point, either just now or later on, of course, with catch up. I know people have busy lives these days. Seems we've all got back into the general routine of what we should be doing, what we could be doing. And so lives got busier. And no longer is it the case where you can say to someone, no, you've got free time next week, and they say, absolutely, do nothing else. Nowadays, we're back to that dive for the diary, check out what's happening and see when we've got time to do stuff. We get busy and busier again. And that's grand and it's good. And maybe that busyness will ease off a little bit as we go into the summer months and have holidays or time off or a change of routine, whether it's from school or work or college or family and changes around us. And they have different routines, which means we can see them more or maybe less. But certainly the busyness has or is beginning to get hold again. But in that busyness, there's also preparing, and preparing for things can be good fun if we know what we're preparing for. If we're preparing for a specific party or event and we know exactly what's happening, we know who's coming, we know what they like to eat or don't like to eat, we know what we're going to be doing and we know that the weather will be just perfect, especially, of course, if it's an outdoor event. But we tend, whatever it is we're planning for, not to know every aspect of what it is that we're preparing for. We might know the guests and we might know their likes, we might know what we're going to be cooking or preparing or whatever, but we tend not to know just how things will actually go and how that will be. And of course, at the moment, we're still unsure not just of the weather, but COVID is still around. And sometimes we plan things and then the people that we want to have around us test positive, they've got to isolate, or all sorts of things that happen. So there's always that within us that we're never quite sure. And we never have been, to be honest. We can never have been 100% sure that everything would go smoothly. And if your life is been like mine, then 100% of the time life doesn't go smoothly. There have to be adaptations to what's going on. But this morning's certainly about preparing, and especially preparing for the things that we really don't know what's going to happen. As many of you will know, I am preparing at the moment for my guests from Ukraine who will arrive on, well, either early Saturday morning, or for some of you it'll be just late Friday night, which goes into the early Saturday morning, but just after midnight they should land in Edinburgh. On a plane, of course, not just by themselves, that sort of stuff. But there's the planning to go and meet them, to collect them, to find them, which isn't too drastic because we will recognise them, we'll have their folk there who will know who they are. But there's a preparing of the rooms. I'm sitting in one room which has been prepared at the manse as a wee sitting room, and the other room, the bedroom, which has been almost prepared, almost ready, not quite there. But in the not quite there, there's anxiety a wee bit and worry and concern is, have we got everything that they will need? Is everything in place? Is everything done? What will they think? Will it be suitable? All those things, that the practicalities of things that they might need when we don't know who they are. We don't know their likes or dislikes, the colour schemes that they might prefer. I know that doesn't matter, and it won't matter to them either. Not worrying about those things, but just the worry that is a hope, I suppose, that things will be okay for them. Because no matter how much I'm worrying about these things, I've got to keep putting it into perspective. That these people, this couple, are travelling from a war-torn country that is their home, leaving behind family and friends, and coming to live with a stranger. And as you know, there are not many, any stranger. But coming to live with someone they don't know, in a house that they don't know. And they too, perhaps, are panicking at this point, a few sleeps away, to think, what are we doing? Is this the right move? Is this the right thing? And all I can do, and I know that we will do together, because I know that you're there with me in this, is to let them know that they're welcome. And that no matter what they might find very strange in this house, in this community, in this place, that they will know that they have that open-armed and open heart welcome, and that they will feel at home. I know language is going to be a huge challenge, but smiles go a long way, and offering people comfort and a safe place to be will go a long way too. So we're going to put that unknown into perspective. I am anxious of the unknown from my side of it, but then that actually dissipates and disappears when I consider the unknowns that they are dealing with, in simply, perhaps even now, packing their cases and what they can get into those cases to drive to Poland. Maybe they're already on that way, on that journey. Who knows? But anyway, please remember them and all who are making their homes here for a while, who are trying to fit in with a culture that is really quite strange to them, who are trying to work out languages and systems that they really don't know anything about. So in our unknowns, there are always others who have greater unknowns. And connecting that today with the period, the season that we're in church, because Sunday's Pentecost. And Pentecost 2,000 years ago was a great unknown. The disciples at this stage, before Pentecost, were counting down the sleeps before the Shavuot, that big, amazing festival that they would celebrate. And they knew that something was going to happen. They knew from Jesus' words, and they knew very well by that stage, that something would happen at this festival, but they didn't know what. They could prepare themselves so far, as we talked about the evening service, but they couldn't prepare everything. They had to be open to what God would do. And 2,000 years on, we don't look and celebrate the coming of the Spirit on Sunday as if it was the first time ever. But we must look to this Sunday and every day of our lives as the day that the Spirit is here with us and trying to lead us, trying desperately sometimes to lead us into an unknown place. Unknown because we have not dared to go there yet. Unknown because although we know the gospel and we try to live it, we haven't quite got it perfected yet. None of us have. And we won't, let's face it. But every year and every day we can try to take ourselves on that journey a little further and a little further. I suppose what we do in preparation for the unknown is we trust in God, we hope in God, and to a certain extent we let God. We let go and we let God lead and guide and direct us. We let God be the driver and the navigator and the pace setter. So we've got to let go and let God. And that's all very well. But in my preparing for guests arriving, I have discovered that if I just let go and let God, nothing actually happens. I've discovered that God is as likely to use a hoover as I am. And all the cooking and cleaning and such like is still down to me. But when we let go and let God actually direct us, we're asking God to show us what is important and what we need to do. Do we really need to hoover and dust again? Or should we be on the phone to someone, asking how they are or arranging to meet them for coffee? When we're cooking, do we really need to be that precise and have everything wonderful? Nice if we can, but isn't it more important that we invite people round and we share the meal, whatever that meal might be, and enjoy the company? And isn't it more important as we prepare for Pentecost every day of our living, not to worry about the minutiae, but to let God direct us into how we spend our time, how we use our minds, how we think about things, how we can be more open to people in all realms and all spheres of living. To let go and let God doesn't mean that God's going to do everything for us. It means, however, that rather than say to God, will you come please and join in my plans? Could you do this, this and this for me as soon as you can, please? That would be grand. But rather to look where God is working and look what God is asking us to do and join in there and say, yeah, We can do our little bit to make this work. We can add the skill and the gifts that we have, and we all have them, to make this better for this group of people or that group of people. It's letting go of our priorities, letting go, perhaps even more difficult to do this, letting go of our control and letting God lead us. We'll find ourselves in places we never thought about. And sometimes when change comes and we fear it most because we are not in control, perhaps those changes actually bring us to a place of deeper peace and understanding and love and inclusion and acceptance. So yeah, I can't let go and let God just sort out the rest of this place for my guests arriving on Saturday. I have to be involved in that a little bit and even do some shopping perhaps. But what I can do is let God be between myself and my guests and be that mediator, be the one who brings us together. And on Sunday, when we celebrate Pentecost, to truly let God have control of my life, our church, our community, and our world again, and look to put our hands where He asks them to be. My bell's just rung, so I'm going to cut this short now and say, enjoy your day, be led where God will lead you, and be assured that God holds you always in His hands, us and everyone else in all creation. God bless you in your day. I'll go and let Juma see who's behind that door. Bye for now.